The quest for the Holy Grail. Every time I hear the words Holy Grail, I think of Monty Python. We've got a grail! Monty Python, one of my favorites. That and the Blackadder series. I think they are hysterically funny. This question came through on the board, and I wanted to jump on and talk about it because it really does represent a lot of questions I get that are historically based. And I wanted to jump in and talk about them. Here's the simple question that was asked. What are your thoughts about the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant? What are my thoughts about the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant? Well, these are two very distinct and separate topics, right? Let's first talk about the Holy Grail. There is no Holy Grail in the Bible, right? There's a supper where he drank something, right? But there is no Holy Grail in the Bible. The Holy Grail was a medieval mythological construct by the church to tie Christianity into the medieval culture. And so the whole concept of the Holy Grail is literally a medieval mythology. And there's a lot of medieval mythologies. In the Middle Ages, when Catholicism was really getting its foothold on power, story after story after story was told and used to grab a hold of that power, right? So they would tell the story of the Holy Grail, and then they would tell their knights that were on a quest, right, or whatever. But those are mythological stories, right? In the Middle Ages, a couple other things happened. Dante wrote his Inferno in the 1300s, and suddenly the whole picture of the devil with horns and the levels of hell and all that stuff suddenly became what the church was teaching. They were using it as the model for that. The year that we live in, 2023, right? A medieval monk chose the date of Jeshua's birth so that we'd have this year. We know that it's not accurate because the Bible itself says he was born at least 6 to 8 years before that. But, we live in 2023 because a medieval monk said this is when he was born. The Middle Ages were trying to control everything by labeling everything. The Middle Ages, the medieval church. And it continued. The whole Inquisition and all of those things were all the church controlling the experience. So the Holy Grail, once again, is just a mythological story told by medieval people. And so that's the first one. Let's just put that one aside. Although, when I went to Jordan, I went to Petra, where Indiana Jones supposedly found the Holy Grail. And there's I'll tell you a funny story right now about that. I went to Petra, and in the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, they go down that valley that they have to go to. It's like a chasm in the rocks. You go down that valley, and you come to the end, and you come to what is known in Petra as the Armory. But that building that you see in the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, it's spectacular. At some point, I'll put up a picture of me there. But I was walking down that walkway, and as I was getting closer and closer to the end of the crevice where the Armory was, I started hearing the Indiana Jones theme. And I'm walking, I'm like, okay, this is weird, and I walked and walked and walked and came out the crevice, and there it was, and you could hear it echoing. I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. And a guy walks out of the inside of the Armory carrying a big radio playing the song. So he thought how cool it would be to be playing that song when he was in the Armory. But I have to say, I had a better experience than he did because I had no idea it was coming, and I had theme music walking up to that building. It was amazing. The second one that you asked here is the Ark of the Covenant. Now, the Ark of the Covenant is a more nuanced story because, somewhere back in history, somebody wrote down the laws, the Ten Commandments, and when those Ten Commandments, which became the law of the laws of Moses, became the law that the Jews followed. It became the guiding principles of all of their belief systems. And those laws carried around on tablets in a box. And that box is called an Ark of the Covenant. Now, the covenant, when you think of what a covenant is an oath. I'm taking an oath, a covenant. And the box that the covenant is carried in was called an ark. Because an ark was a box that was meant for traveling. So you have the Ark of the Covenant. So it's an ark for carrying or transporting the covenant. It's a box that carries the original stones. Now, whether Moses wrote the original stones or not, well, I'm not going to go there because I don't know. But when you take something like that has such fervent belief behind it, and you carry it, and you take it with you when you go into battle, and you carry all these things, you have created a focus of belief that empowers people to do more. They put such faith in, and then they'll start putting faith in, this happened because the Ark of the Covenant was with us. The covenant was with us. The original writings of Moses was with us on this battle, and that's why these successes happened. But before that battle, they said, we're going to win because we have the Ark of the Covenant with us. And so when you look at the Bible, it talks about the Ark of the Covenant laying waste to whole armies and things of that nature. I think it was really the people putting so much faith and belief into this object of veneration that they themselves were achieving great things, or great things in regards to, they were accomplishing large tasks, right? Because great things is a subjective answer to to war. Who won? Who was the winner? Right? And the Old Testament talks very much about this army wiped out that army, but the history is written by the victors. So you don't necessarily know who is which. But then it also says God was with this army. But how was God there? God was there probably because God with the Ark of the Covenant was there with them, and they had this fervent belief that this Ark was going to let them win this battle. So people want to make it, Nazis melting faces and all the mystical stuff, but it really comes back to the power of the belief. And if you have something you put belief in, then you can literally create miracles in your life. And so to me, the Ark of the Covenant was probably a box that had ancient writings of the Ten Commandments of some kind in it, and they probably were like, we have this holy relic with us that is, of God, and so they had that fervent belief in it, and so great things happened around it. So that really is my thought on the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail. I think that it's the greatest lesson you can learn in any of those kind of stories is that your belief is what creates. Your belief is the experience you're going to live. And if you can literally get your belief in check, then you can get anything in your life. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.